What do you do on a daily basis when your feet hit the floor and you wake up? Use this framework to guide your daily real estate investing effort and activity, and I guarantee you'll see better results than what you're seeing right now. I'm a huge believer in building simple systems. If you build simple systems in your business, and if you use technology to your advantage to help you drive those systems forward, you can be successful like all of the people you see around you that have been successful before you. Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Swanson here with another episode of Freedom Cast. Hey, in this episode, we're going to talk about what does it take and why do you want to be a real estate investor? We're going to talk about when you invest in real estate, what do you have to be thinking about? What does your mindset have to be looping around and looking for in order to be a successful investor? I've been a real estate investor now for over 20 years, and constantly I have conversations with people where the conversation goes, hey, I want to invest in real estate, but the answer to why isn't really there. People don't really know why they want to invest in real estate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this conversation and we're going to break it down into a couple of key important parts as we talk through this topic. Now, we're going to start with something that may sound a little bit more strategic than tactical. And that's going to be okay in our case here today, because too often people jump right into trainings and YouTube videos and online courses and all, live events and education, and it cuts right to the tactics. And what that misses is the strategy. And when I'm talking about strategy, I'm talking about that holistic, big picture understanding of why would you invest in real estate. So we're going to break this down, and we're going to talk through several different things. Now, at the end, I'm going to give you 4 things that you need to be doing on a regular daily basis to be successful as a real estate investor. But we're going to talk strategy before we get into the tactics. So let's start. I think about 5 main reasons why I like to invest in real estate. So number 1, I like equity. And I'm going to give you these 5 things, write these down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to dive into each one. So the number 1 reason to invest in real estate is to build equity. The number 2 reason to invest in real estate is to get cash. The number 3 reason to invest in real estate is to generate cash flow. The number 4 reason to invest in real estate is to capture depreciation. The number 5 reason to invest in real estate is you can use leverage. You can turn little into a lot. Now, we're going to break down each of these and talk about them. And let's go back to number 1. Let's start with equity. Why do you want to build equity? Well, building equity is that long-term play. It's the thing that builds your wealth. It's that most people, when I say, hey, do you want to invest in real estate? They say, yeah, I want to invest in real estate. Why? Because, I can invest in real estate and I can get rich. And people miss, or they say I can build passive income, or I can build recurring income, and I can get paid over time. And right, there's the ideas. Well, building equity is one of those wealth building ideas that real estate has as its advantage. Now, let's talk about what building equity means. Equity is simply the difference between what a property is worth and how much you owe. So if you owe 0 and it's worth $100,000, your equity is $100,000. Now, the idea here is that at some point along your career as a real estate investor, what you're going to do is you're going to turn the equity into cash. That's the objective of equity. You can't buy groceries with equity. You can't put food on the table with equity. You can't go on a vacation with equity. But you can turn equity into cash. And you can do that in a variety of ways. You can sell the property. You can borrow against the property. You can structure creative terms to turn equity into cash at any time when you own real estate. And so one of the key components to investing in real estate successfully is to control or build equity. Now, let's just say this. I'm a big believer in a lot of equity out in the public puts a target on your back. And so I'm not a big fan of sitting in a bunch of equity unless it's properly structured and protected and done right. So if you create equity, let's talk about how you create or build this equity. You can build the equity right up front. You've heard the phrase buy at a discount, or you've heard the phrase make money when you buy. Well, the way you do that is you buy at a discount. So let's say a property is worth $100,000 fixed up and it needs $20,000 worth of repairs. As is value, let's say it's about $80,000. Well, I personally am almost always going to buy that at $55,000 or less. So I'm going to buy at a discount. That discount creates instant equity. Now, the other thing that you can do to create equity is, let's take that same example where you've got a $100,000 property, and let's say that it's worth $100,000 if it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. But if you come in and you improve it and you turn it into a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, or you add a garage, or you do something to improve or increase the highest and best use of that property, you can increase its value, thus creating more equity. Another way you can create equity is by paying down the debt. Just paying down what is owed over time creates equity, whether the property goes up in value or not. The debt goes down and it creates more and more equity. Now, the last way that we can talk about to create equity is just buying in the right market at the right time and letting the market do all the work. Most real estate investors that build true wealth use market to build their wealth with equity. The market goes up in value, demand increases, supply constrict, prices go up. That builds equity. That's a conversation of equity. That's why you invest in real estate, to build equity that can be turned into cash. So the second reason to invest in real estate is to get cash. And you can get cash in real estate in a variety of ways, depending on the tactics and the exit strategies you use. Sometimes you can buy short-term deals, buy it, fix it, and flip it, or just buy it and flip it right away and turn that equity, that discount you bought, into cash immediately. Other times you have to, or you decide to generate cash over time or take cash out later. And so the second reason to invest in real estate is to get cash. One of my favorite ways to do it is when I buy real estate, I almost always pay cash. I don't use traditional financing. I don't use hard money. I almost always exclusively use private money, private lenders. And the reason I do that is because it allows me to structure a safe deal because of the equity for my private lenders. And it allows me to structure a deal that I can get paid today, and I can do a lot of deals because nobody's restricting me from going and getting another $100,000 or $1 million or $10 million in private money. And so what I'll do is I'll structure deals to get cash today where I will borrow 100% of the purchase price, I'll borrow 100% of the repairs, and I'll borrow 100% of the holding costs. Now, if I do my job well, and if repairs come in below budget, on time, on budget, or ahead of time and ahead of budget, I get to keep that extra cash. So I'm incented to do the right thing by a property. Now, the third reason to invest in real estate is cash flow. Now, this is my favorite reason to invest in real estate. I like to invest in real estate for cash flow. I like to do work one time, and I like to get paid over and over and over again. Now, the reason I like real estate is it's a hard, tangible, physical asset that can be insured. It provides a service that everybody needs, housing. And if you do the right types of properties, if you invest in and buy the right types of properties, do the right types of renovations, provide safe, functional housing, that income and that cash flow comes in on a regular basis. I love cash flow. The better I am at buying at a discount, the better I am at choosing the right properties, the better I am at knowledge, at understanding the game of real estate investing, the better my cash flow is. And that is such a key element to successfully investing in real estate. So whether you're buying single family houses or duplexes or fourplexes or apartment buildings or even other types of real estate, commercial real estate, storage units or mobile home parks or you name it, the way I look at real estate cash flow is as a stream of income. So I want to look at this cash flow as a stream of income. And if I've got $900 in rent coming in, I ask myself, what are my outgoing expenses? And I break my outgoing expenses down into what I call TIMV: taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, and vacancy. Those are my fixed operating costs. Those are the things I know I'm going to be spending on a regular basis. So if I've got $900 a month in income, and let's say I've got, let's call it 30%, we'll round it to $300. So let's just say I've got $300 in operating costs, TIMV, taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, and vacancy. I've got a net operating income of $600. And so any money that I borrow, any debt that I have against that property now comes against the $600 in net operating income, and that becomes my net cash flow. And that's the money. Your net cash flow is the money that you put into Hip Pocket National Bank. That's the secret sauce. That's the cat's meow. That's what you want as a real estate investor. So I always look for ways to maximize my net operating income and thus my net cash flow. So debt and income are the two big pieces in there because your taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, and vacancy, those are generally fixed costs. Now you can build scale in your real estate investing portfolio depending on the type of properties you invest in and depending on how you run your business. But cash flow is my favorite reason to buy real estate. The other thing that cash flow does is cash flow gives you the ability to build wealth, because when somebody else is paying for you to own a tangible fixed asset that can go up in value over time, that can build equity over time, that you can pull cash out of over time, that builds your wealth. That's not money that you're having to go out and earn actively and spend to build your wealth. That's money that's wealth that is being built for you. And there's a misconception that it takes a lot of money to buy real estate and invest in real estate. And that's just not true. You don't need a lot of money to get into this. What you need is knowledge, relationships, and then you need to take action and you need to do it. And I'm telling you, it's absolutely worth it. Now, the fourth reason that we're going to talk about to invest in real estate is depreciation. This is one of those misunderstood or often overlooked reasons to invest in real estate that I don't think gets enough benefit or gets enough playtime, really. You know, there's a lot of people that are high income earners, that are business owners, that have W-2 high income, maybe commission based high income, sales professionals, executives, people that make money, or, you know, frankly, the average Joe out there gives away way too much money in taxes. You spend way too much money because you don't have the knowledge of how to do this. You don't need to buy real estate to pay less in taxes, but people don't understand how to do it. One of the reasons when you get to a certain point in your real estate or in your income earning level, you start to look at ways, okay, how can I eliminate taxes? And I'll tell you this, the way I look at the IRS tax code is it's a playbook. It's the playbook for what the government is asking us as producers to put our capital into in order to spur the economy on and to create jobs and to move the economy and to do different things. So I look at the tax code and depreciation as a playbook for what I should be putting my money into. And in exchange for putting my money into real estate and producing housing, I get a tax benefit. And so depreciation takes my active, ordinary earned income, and it allows me to pay less in taxes as I depreciate against the property. And really what depreciation is doing is it's saying that there's a lifespan of this property over time, and you get to take a certain percentage of the value of that property over that period of time. You take a little bit every year, and you get to keep that money in your pocket rather than paying it out in taxes. And the reason for that is because the idea is that that property deteriorates over time. It's depreciating. So you're keeping capital that ultimately you're going to invest back into the property to refurbish it, renovate it, and maintain its condition over time. Over time, properties deteriorate. You have to put more money into them. And that's the whole idea. Now, depreciation gets often overlooked, and I don't think it should, because it's a big reason to invest in real estate. It's going to help you keep more money in your pocket. Now, the fifth reason to invest in real estate is you can use leverage. Now, I'm going to tell you, I am not one of those guys that will sit here and tell you that leverage is the cat's meow. Leverage introduces risk. And so if you're going to leverage your real estate portfolio, you need to understand that you're increasing your exposure to risk. And the way you're doing that is you're putting a lender in charge. If something goes wrong and you can't pay the lender takes the asset. Okay. Now, the way I like to structure leverage in real estate is, and the reason it works is because it's a physical hard asset. So my private lenders come in and they lend me the money and they secure their money against the physical hard asset. So if I were to not pay, their money is protected. And the other reason I really like this from a leverage standpoint, the way I do it, is it's insurable. It's an insurable asset. So not only is the private lender secured by the value of the asset at a discount, but they're also secured by the insurance that covers the property and thus their investment as well. And so I'm not a big fan of going out and borrowing bank money where there are personal guarantees and there are all of these other components to the loan process. I want my portfolio to stand on its own and the assets of the portfolio to be the collateral that is protecting and benefiting the lender. And that's why I'm a big fan of private money in real estate and using private money in that way. Now, those are the 5 biggie reasons to invest in real estate. I could break out a dozen or 2 more little reasons, or we could take these big areas and we could carve them up and we could look at a lot of different angles and strategies and tactics that you could use to make this whole thing make a lot of sense. We're just going to leave it at the 5 for right now. And we're going to go back and we're going to say, okay, so if we understand now why we're investing in real estate, to build equity that you can turn into cash, to get cash today, to create cash flow, to save on your taxes through depreciation, and to use leverage to get more out of less. Now we have to say, well, how do I go find those opportunities? Well, real estate investing boils down to one simple thing: problem solving. You have to find people, owners, that have a problem that they need solved. Because if you came to me and asked me to buy my personal house at a discount today, I would chuckle because I don't need to sell. I don't need to sell at a discount. But if you were to come to me and if I owned a problem property, maybe I had a tenant that was a deadbeat and trashed the house, and I don't have the capital or the time or the know-how to fix it up. Maybe I inherited a property. Maybe, there's a lot of different reasons that you can think of that creates motivated sellers. But what you need is somebody that needs to sell their property, not just wants to sell their property. They have a problem that you, through an offer on their real estate, can solve. That's the secret to investing in real estate. And you would be surprised how often that happens, right? And you look at sometimes a perfectly good looking property, whether it's a single family house, a duplex, a small apartment building, a large apartment building. Owners have problems, and I break them into a couple of categories. There are people problems. So the owners have a personal problem. Maybe they moved away, they moved out of state. And so that now there's distance between them and the property, and it's hard to manage. Maybe they lost a job and they're nervous about being able to cover expenses because they're not managing it well. Maybe they inherited a property and they're getting tax and code violations from the city, and they're not sure how to deal with it, and it's costing them money to own this house. See, a house that is not producing income is a liability. On your balance sheet, on your personal balance sheet, you have assets and you have liabilities. And if there is a property that is costing you money, that is acting like a liability. It's taking cash off the balance sheet in your life. It's taking cash flow off the table, and it's making you pay for that liability. That creates problems. So owners have people problems and they have property problems. So property problems, and we've started to talk about it, are distressed properties. Maybe the house has been vacant for 10 years and it's got no HVAC system, no electrical system. The roof has holes in it. Maybe a tenant was just living in it, moved out and trashed it on a midnight move out. And, it's going to cost $5,000 to fix it up. There's a distressed property. Maybe it was a foreclosure. Maybe there was vandalism. There are all sorts of reasons. And maybe it was just time. Maybe grandma and grandpa just had lived in this house, for the last 60 years and didn't do a lot of maintenance or upkeep in the last 10 years. And the property's just deteriorated. It's not always a bad event that creates the distress in a property. Sometimes it's just age and time that happens. And so I think about when I want to create one of those 5 reasons to invest in real estate, I need somebody that needs to sell, not just wants to sell. So I'm looking for a motivated seller. So I'm looking for somebody that has either a people problem or a property problem. And that's what I go and I do lead generation for. So now we're going to get into the tactics, right? So we've moved from the concepts of, okay, if you want to get into real estate investing, understand you want equity. Understand you want cash flow. Understand you want cash. Understand if you buy and hold, you're going to get depreciation. You're going to keep more of the other income you generate. And understand you can use leverage to your advantage. To do all that, you need deals. You need opportunities. And so you're looking for motivated sellers, which gets into the tactics. Here's 4 things that I tell people they need to be thinking about on a daily basis if they want to be a successful real estate investor. And this is the framework that we use in my business to train people and to teach people to think about real estate investing. And what's really great is I didn't even come up with these 4 things. My lead coach, one of my guys here on the team that's been with me, awesome guy for the last decade plus, has been coaching and teaching people how to do this business. And he kept seeing patterns of people not getting. I have this phrase that I tell people all the time. I can teach it to you, I can't understand it for you. And I always use that to try to ask myself, well, how can I say it more simply? How can I make it easier to understand? How can I break this down in a better way so that people get it and they know what to go out and do? And so Mike in my office came up with this as he was coaching and teaching people. And it's 4 components that you need to wake up every day and ask yourself. Ask yourself these 4 things every single day. Number 1, who am I marketing to today? So when you ask yourself, who are you marketing to today? Who are you going to go out and solve their problem today? Who are you generating leads from today? Number 2, who are you talking to today? When those leads are coming in, who are you getting on the phone with and talking to today? Who are you marketing to today? Number 1. Who are you talking to today? Number 2. Number 3, the fortune is in the follow-up. Who are you following up with today? Number 3, the fortune is in the follow-up. As I said, who are you following up with today? And number 4, and this, friends, is the most important of the 4. Who are you making an offer to today? I have this question all the time. Rob, I've been doing all of the lead generation. I've been following the process. I've been getting people responding. I've been talking to sellers. I've been following up with my leads, and I'm not getting any real estate deals. I'm not getting the result. And then I ask one simple question. How many offers have you made in the last 7 days, in the last 30 days? And often the answer is the proof in the pudding, right? The answer is, well, none, or 2, or, you get the point. If you're not making offers, you're not making money, period. So the first 3 of the quadrant of 4 things that you need to be doing on a daily basis to be a successful real estate investor is ask yourself, who are you marketing to today? What lead campaign is going out today that's going to generate inbound leads? Number 2, who are you talking to today? Of those inbound leads that are coming in that have built your pipeline, who are you picking up the phone and talking to today? Number 3, who are you following up with today to revive a lead that's been sitting there that wasn't ready before but is ready now? Who are you following up with today? And number 4, who are you making an offer to today? Because friends, if you're not making offers, you're not making money, period, as a real estate investor. I hope you'll take this framework and this thought process and these concepts of strategically, why are you do that? Who are you trying to talk to and what's driving their decision-making process? And then finally, this 3rd category, what do you do on a daily basis when your feet hit the floor and you wake up? Use this framework to guide your daily real estate investing effort and activity. And I guarantee you'll see better results than what you're seeing right now. I'm a huge believer in building simple systems. If you build simple systems in your business, and if you use technology to your advantage to help you drive those systems forward, you can be successful like all of the people you see around you that have been successful before you. So friends, I hope this made a lot of sense. I hope this gives you something to think about. I love sharing it with you. My name is Rob Swanson, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video and would like to start your real estate investing career or are looking to scale your real estate investing business, click the link below to join me for an exclusive training. Every real estate deal starts with getting high-quality, motivated seller leads. And if you want leads on demand, by attending this training, you'll see how to generate hundreds of motivated seller leads live. I do exactly what I'm about to show you, and this works time and time again. In fact, my team used this exact strategy that I'll be teaching you to close 172 deals in a year. This method will help you find red-hot seller leads in minutes every day at any time. So if you're sick and tired of hustling like a maniac 24/7 or waiting for what seems like forever to get highly motivated sellers calling you, then this training is exactly what you need today. Click the link now and claim your seat. I'll see you at the training.